Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Schoolboy here back with another video. And again, today we're gonna be talking about Bell Collective, season 3, part 2, the second part to their reunion. I don't understand how this got 3 parts. It's truly a Carlos King production to have 3 damn parts to the only entire thing we're talking about is only 2 people, which is Tambra and um Latrice. But anyways, let's talk about it. But before we get into it, make sure y'all go over to Chef Don Don's channel. Check out the latest episode of Hotline Bling Chat Room over there. Make sure you also subscribe and like the video, push the video through the algorithm, and subscribe to Chef Don Don because he's always coming up with some good heat over there on his channel. Something y'all can get into and feel all that. Okay. Also, make sure that y'all check out my new web reality dating series, School of Love, that will be premiering during the spring season. And no, we ain't talking about charades, summer, spring, fall shit. We talking about realistic spring. Okay, so that'll be around there. Make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. Here I go. Happy Saturday to all of y'all. I wanted to get on here and talk about Bell Collective because it just I had so many questions with this review with this reunion, and I just had so many things that was on my mind, and I took my notes, and I'm ready to just like really get into some stuff and deep dive, like really like talk about this because it's just for me a lot of things is really not adding up. The math is not mathing, and Carlos King's logic it just ain't logic. It's not logic in my eyes. But I do also want to let you guys know if you would like to have your black owned business promoted during Hotline Bling Chat Room or School of Love, make sure y'all email us at admin@tcddproductions.com. They will get out all of the advertising packages out to you. And just the one thing that we ask you is already have your commercial ready, edited, and ready to go. That way, we are not trying to correct or fix anything. We don't want to correct or fix anything. We want you to already have that already made up before you come to us. Okay. Also, follow me on the social medias scrolling down on the screen, Twitter and Instagram. And as well, if you'd like to donate to the Cash App or Venmo, you can as well throughout this video. I'm just going to let you know everything that I say is in my opinion. And, it's just that. It's my commentary, it's my opinion. You don't have to like it, but we ain't got to fall out about it and we can disagree about it. And I will be absolutely fine with that. I'm good on that. Okay. So we get into part 2. We open back up. Marie's in the back screaming and hollering with her lover and her secretary, Essie, about how Latrice belittles everyone and talks down to people on the cast. And I'm just like, ma'am, do we not do any self-reflection? Do we not sit in the mirror and look at ourselves? Do we not clock in with ourselves and check ourselves to make sure that you not discussing you? Because ma'am, you are definitely discussing you. I don't know how many times you have been nasty, how many times you have been vile, how many disgusting things you have sat up there and said about every single last one of these women on the cast and or their husbands. Ma'am, you really need to learn to read the room. And I get it that yo yes man or yes woman slash man, Essie ain't gonna really check you on that, but you are a very deplorable person and human being, Marie Monroe, since you want to be cosplaying a white woman. I don't understand it. Latrice is saying she's tired of these bees. Tambra's in her dressing room and she mentions Akeisha saying that she had sadness in her eyes. And her glam team says she's crying because they ganging up on her. My thing is, I really don't understand Akeisha's position on this reunion because some of the things that you're saying and some of the things that you're not saying is just like really interesting to me. And I think it's everything that you're not saying, but some of the things that you're trying to say, but you're not really saying. I guess that's really bothering me because I'm trying to understand what the issue is between you and Latrice. And I did see Latrice. I think it was Latrice that got on Chef Don Don's uh tweet last night, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Chef Don Don. And said she really don't understand what the issue is between her and Akeisha. She doesn't necessarily get it. It's just something odd that she's not understanding what the true issue is. You got Lil Boozy in the back trying to give Letitia a pep talk, and he sounding stupid. And I'm just like, dude, you trying to give your wife a pep talk about not chasing after a snake like Latrice, but you were the same ninja that was on national TV saying you wanted your wife to be more like Latrice. Can you pick a struggle, you and her pick a struggle and stick to it? Because it's rather aggravating at this point by watching the episode. Um, and just to say that your wife is a different caliber of woman, what type of caliber of woman is that? A dumb woman, a stupid woman, a woman that's sitting up here staying with a man that had her on national TV taking a paternity test over a child that he didn't even know it possibly was his because he's slanging and banging with everybody in the community. So what type of caliber of a woman is your wife? The type of caliber of woman that would fake having an enterprise or a business on national TV to try to seem like she's something more than what she is? Like, like what caliber of woman? I'm trying to understand what is it that the caliber of woman that your wife exudes? Because your wife doesn't exude any type of caliber of woman that I know that would sit up here and create a whole pamphlet about side chicks with grammatical errors and punctuational errors. Like that's just not at this point. What are we talking about here? We got to be realistic about these things that we're saying, Lil Boozy. You and your kiosk jewelry around your neck and them turtlenecks is crazy. And I just don't think that you really even have the emotional intelligence or wherewithal in general to be trying to tell your wife how much more better than she is than another woman when you are got your wife out here suffering on national TV from your fuckery. Are we not? Like, come on. Carlos then talks about Marie and her non-interesting storylines that I could really care less about. With her this year, to me, exploiting her mother's addiction and this fake dating she did in the first part of the season with that man that we ain't never see. First of all, when we gonna dig up her husband and find out did they really get divorced? Where's the paperwork? Where's the storyline to that? You want to talk about people living their truths and showing their truths? Marie, let's get on that. Let's get on that. Because I feel like you are the last person to be sitting up here discussing what people should be truthfully saying and what they should not be saying, because you for real don't show everything about you. Okay, we know that. Carlos then, dragging out this moment, asks what kind of man does she want, and she says conservative. Well, you ain't a bit conservative your damn self. So how you want a conservative man when you straight up ghetto and not conservative, tacky, classless? Shall we go on? I mean, I'm just saying. Carlos asked about her mom, and basically, her mom is still doing the same because, as I said in my previous reviews, that lady is not ready to get help. And when she feels like she's going to get help, that is when she will be ready. Until then, Marie is wasting time, funds, and all of this and exploiting her mother online for a storyline because the lady is not ready to get help. We know that. Marie claims Tamara is, never clocks in, and Latrice started clocking in this season. When have you ever clocked in besides being a overgrown bully with a bad BBL? So if that's clocking in, no, that's just trash ass behavior, and that's not clocking in. Okay, so let's get that 100% straight. Okay. Um, Tamara says her baby does not have Damon's last name because Carlos asks about that. And no, they are not still married. At the end of the day, I saw somebody's tweet and they were like, it was another content creator. It was funny. They said, "Oh well, she's not married, so he still didn't want to marry her." Y'all have to understand that marriage is not always everybody's end goal and everybody's desire. And I'm gonna tell you this: once you have kids with someone, it does change the dynamic of the relationship. To me, Damon and her were having some sort of issues. It wasn't perfect before she got pregnant. But at this point in time, if that lady is satisfied with her situation, stop trying to force marriage on folks. Some of y'all need to worry about what's going on in your household instead of sitting up here trying to analyze somebody else's marriage and situation. When if they are okay with that and they are satisfied with that, let them people go on and live their life. Cause some of y'all, I be side-eyeing y'all's opinions on marriage and be wondering how the hell y'all are even married with some of the opinions that y'all share. Cause I damn sure couldn't be your husband or even partner married to some of y'all based upon the viewpoints that y'all give. I'm just saying. But anyways, I know that was a little bit off the subject, but I had to say that. Carlos brings up Marie telling the world she was not pregnant before the storyline played out on TV. Which I believe that was Marie being a bully and an asshole because Marie, of course, is looking to bully somebody. And because Tambra doesn't really speak up that much, Tambra is not the most vocalist person. You know, she felt like she could bully Tambra. And really, that's what it is. You wanted to blow that lady's storyline. And for what? Because you claim that she's not living her truth. And again, where is your husband that they allegedly say is really gay? Where's he at? Where is the divorce paperwork? Can we talk more about that Hamilton Davis facility that you have? Like, what are we doing? This is where, like I say with Marie, your anger is so misplaced. And sweetie, I want you to lay down on somebody's couch and get some therapy. Tambra says she didn't like it because the network was on her about keeping it quiet, but Marie can just run her big ass flappers and nothing is said to her. Marie brings up that Tambra should have told her about her ex because she put the Bells in danger, but yet she's the one that went to seek this man out with Letitia in tow. Okay, that stuffed potato on that couch who can't close her legs because the outfit that she has on is ill fitting. That stuffed potato. I'm gonna say this, okay? You and that stuffed potato wrapped in that golden foil over there on that table on that couch are ridiculous. Let's be clear. You went to go seek this man out. That same man sent that same message to the entire cast, but it was you and Letitia that went to go seek out this man. So if anything, you put your own damn self in danger, you dumbass, because you went to go search or went to go speak to someone that you knew nothing about instead of going to Tambra and asking her, "Hey, I got this message about this man that came up to me and said that he got, hey, Tambra said she was aware that the message went around because Latrice had brought it up to her. So therefore, she knew that it was available. She knew that it was around. And Latrice and them didn't even entertain it. But it's you and that potato wrapped in golden foil over there that went to go seek that man. So if anything, you put your own damn self in danger, you idiot, because that lady has never spoken on that man. That man was back from 2016, 8 years ago. We are in 2024. So in what shape or form would you even have anything to say to this man? This is how I know, Marie, you went into that shit with malicious intent because you felt like you was trying to hurt this girl for whatever reason. What has this girl done to you so deep that has caused you to want to go hurt her so bad? It's actually ridiculous. Latrice says everyone knew about that situation, and then you got so hoochie and Letitia and Marie acting like they don't know nothing. Y'all heifers know. You want to sit up here and play innocent. And Letitia, you stuffed baked potato looking heifer, you was wrong. You were wrong and you will never own that, but you were wrong. That's why your ass was sitting there on mute, letting Marie go out into the lion's den alone. But if that's your dog, sit up there and get your friend back. But you knew your friend was dead ass wrong. That's some bum ass shit if you ask me. Real talk. Tambra clears it all up and says this was someone they got from 2016. All of them in the cast that had got the message. Letitia and again, Marie were the only ones that entertained it. Marie claims the man wanted to clear his name. Again, what name? We didn't know the man's name. So what was he clearing, Marie? You sound dumb. And you admitted on your IG Live, which is over on Chef Don Don's page, that y'all knew this information. You and Letitia knew this information. Now you want to backpedal and pussy pop on national TV. Like, Marie, you're a first-class liar. And that's why you and Letitia are good friends. You're good Judies because you both lie. And I'm willing to bet both of you have to sit on the phone and talk about each other. I'm quite sure as soon as y'all hang up the phone, you two have to talk about each other because that's the tea y'all get. Marie tries to speak about how Marie was Tamra tries to speak about how Marie was not remorseful, and she's screaming, "Live your truth." And I wonder, where is your ex and why we ain't had the divorce on the show? Since you want somebody to live their truth. How about you living your truth, Marie? Because we know you don't live in yours. So the men come out, and JJ got this Versace suit on with these beauty supply crystals in the back of his head, talking about God darn it. And I'm just like, I get it, but JJ is so corny to me. Like, I don't even know how he gets. Never mind. I'm gonna just stop it. And maybe it's the corniness, and that's the why women want to be with him, but I can't see it. Anyways, he gives Carlos with a t-shirt, gives Carlos a t-shirt saying God darn it on it, and I'm just like, okay, sit this corny nigga down. Letitia and Lil Boozy thinking that Lil Boozy, Carlos calling Lil Boozy and Letitia Lil Boozy and Young Miami. I'm just like, girl, where? Because they both broke. He ain't giving no type of billionaire status. And hell, they probably barely giving middle class. And they probably giving upper middle class because it's Mississippi, and that is the poorest state in the union. So it ain't hard to say that you're rich in Mississippi. And that's no shade to anybody from Mississippi. I'm just saying, speaking fact. But they are long. Woo, they are light. She is light years from Young Miami. Please. Because at least Young Miami would have had an outfit on that would have fit her properly. Demond wasn't there because he was on daddy duty. Cliff said he ain't got to be here. There, it's a free country, and that's the military fights for. So that's code for that old, Clifford the big red dog was not feeling being there, and he didn't want to be there, but he was there because his wife wanted him there. So he was there to support his wife and not Carlos King, and I was like, ooh, girl, okay. Carlos gets into the scene at M Bar with Latrice and Cliff, and she is asked, does he call her a bitch a lot when they argue? Latrice says if anything, she calls him a bitch. And Carlos says, that's not what I asked you. And she says, no, he may not rebuttal in the argument, but he doesn't call her a bitch regularly. Well, anytime you calling each other out of your name, that is a cause for concern, Latrice. That is not healthy. And that is very not a healthy way to fight. I do understand that couples do argue. Couples do not always agree. But when you are calling each other bitches and you're calling each other out of your name, that is not okay. That's not it. Because if you verbally going to hell with it to your partner, how the hell can that be a safe place mentally and emotionally for you? That's my opinion. You don't have to agree, and that's cool. But that's just me. Latrice feels it's wrong for folks on the cast to say she's in an abusive relationship with her husband, when more than half of the cast has experienced domestic violence. Stuffed Potato Letitia says she doesn't care. Carlos asked Akeisha based on what she saw at M Bar, does she think she's being abused? And she says based off of seeing that scene, it possibly could be true. And again, hold on 1 minute. Because I had the same situation on my Twitter. Someone that followed me on my Twitter at the first part of the season when this M Bar incident happened. And remember the night that they went to So Gucci's house and JJ's house, and they did the JJ did the party for So Gucci and everything. And there was someone took a picture of the episode. They paused the episode and took a picture of Latrice's arms with some bruises on it. They tagged me in it, and they also tagged Latrice. And they say, well, see, this is what they're talking about. Allegedly, this is Cliff is beating on Latrice because look at the marks on her arm. Schoolboy, look at the marks on her arm. And I politely tweeted back to that person, please don't tag me. First of all, I don't tag the people in my tweets for a reason. The reason we don't tag reality stars, celebrities, or whatever is because we want to be able to see their timeline, and we don't want them to block us. That's number one. That's why we only tweet with the hashtag. Number two, that type of stuff, I don't like anybody tagging me in your opinion about that. Because yes, I do commentary and I gag and I joke and I play, but there's certain subjects I do not play and I don't joke about. One thing is about DV, grape, SA, anything involving children, unaliving, any of that. I don't play with any of those things. And my thing is, I've watched bloggers get sued for making false allegations or putting out information or allowing people to step on their platform and say things that are not true. I have not seen that. I have never witnessed that. I don't know that to be true. And there's a lot of things that have been running around on BelleCollective about Latrice and Cliff's marriage through hashtags and people tagging people. And I did the person did respect it, and they have since then stopped tagging folks in their replies to me or replying to my tweets or videos and tagging folks. Because at the end of the day, I understand y'all are entitled to y'all opinion, but I don't play with subjects like that because that's how I can get sued. You're not going to be the person to get sued. They're going to try to come after me. And this is why I don't like the tagging of people in my posts. But I'm bringing that up to say that that stuff has been running around on Twitter for a long time, and folks have been creating tweets about that. Okay, I don't know if that is true in that lady's household, but I don't like people creating certain narratives when you are not present. You may not like how they handle their marriage, and you might not like what you see based upon what you watch on TV, but you do need to be cognizant of what you say, because if the shoe was on the other foot and you were on TV and someone said that about your mate or your husband or whoever, y'all would feel some type of way. So all I'm saying is be respectful as of what you say and be mindful of what you say. I understand free speech is free, but technically it's not always free. It can cost you in some point in time. So Cliff says, and again, Keisha saying what she's saying. I don't know what she's getting that assessment from. I don't know if Joshy has said something to her because he does do her makeup and stuff from time to time. He could have said something to her. But again, I would have reserved my comments to myself. Because again, you don't know what you're referring to, and that can go two different ways. Cliff says she has a cell phone and makes her own money. She can call the police, and if she could leave if that was the case. Akeisha makes a statement, well, people get their ass whooped every day and don't call the police. Cliff says, again, we have been together 13 years. If she was ever in danger, she would have called 911 a long time ago. Akeisha says she knows people of 30 years and still don't call. And she says, I know that's not your situation, but that's what I'm saying. Well, Akeisha, you have to understand how you're implying that, even though that's not what you're saying, the situation you're in, kind of implying that possibly could be that situation. Because you said that lady's eyes is dark and she just seems sad behind the eyes. So again, you are pushing some sort of narrative about that. Sometimes if you want to be neutral in it and don't really have a dog in it, just be Switzerland to it. But because Carlos asked you, you responded, and that's what you gave. So I can't even really fault you too much. But again, Cliff says he's demanding, but he's not controlling. And he says Latrice approached him. He didn't want to marry her, and he was okay with being single and doing what he wanted. But because he loved her, he married her. And I was just like, it was the way you said that, bro. You said it like she forced you, and that's the way it felt, and that's the way it came off. That she forced you to marry. She chased you down. She pursued you. She forced you to marry her because that really wasn't what you wanted to do. Because sir, can't nobody force you to do anything. If you didn't want to marry Latrice, you didn't have to marry Latrice. Again, that still is a choice by you as well as being the man. Cliff states Latrice's age didn't have anything to do with him wanting to marry her because he wanted a younger woman to control her. Carlos brings up things like him having a tracker on a car, and the rest of the cast is giggling, and I'm like, how is this even funny? Because if y'all are accusing this man of domestic violence, when does domestic violence ever be funny? So it's really not something to giggle and laugh about. And Cliff says he doesn't. Carlos Cliff and Latrice do mention that they share each other's location. Some people do in relationships, they share each other's location. Some people do it in people's marriages. That's their thing because they want to make sure that their partner is safe at all times. It's a safety thing and not a controlling thing. Now, y'all can take it any way y'all want to in this case because it's Cliff and Latrice. So y'all are going to say it's a controlling thing. And why would anybody want to do that? But most people that I know that are couples that do it, it's for a safety thing because of how the world is. It is not a controlling thing. So I'll just say that. Carlos asked Letitia since they were close at one time, has Latrice confided in her about anything? And she says she will not share it with the group because that was private. And I'm just like, but you can share Latrice business and dog Latrice out any other moment. But in this moment, now you want to be private. It's either you want to be private because Latrice may know some of your shit and you don't want it to go to blow. So then now you want to keep it cute, keep it mute. Because that's what I feel that is. Bet. Carlos is asking Latrice, is she safe and making sure she's okay when making sure she's okay. But then I'm like, you forcing Melody to do scenes with Martell on Love and Marriage Huntsville, but you concerned about Latrice's safety. Huh? And then there was somebody that got on my Twitter, and I did put that on my Twitter, and somebody got on there and talked about, well, Glenn was stalking Letitia. Glenn was not stalking Letitia. Glenn was clearly mic'd up anytime that he saw Letitia. Glenn was mic'd. That's not stalking. So stop trying to compare apples and oranges, because that ain't it. Cliff says every marriage or relationship has problems. Carlos says it should never be physical. And Cliff says he agrees with that. Cliff says his real anger was with Josh and had nothing to do with Latrice that night. And he took it out on her, and it was due to the things he said in his home and never apologized to him. Which, look, I don't agree with how he handled that because that was totally foul and that wasn't right. And people do take their shit out on other people when you can't get to the person that you want to embarrass. But my thing is, Joshy was sitting right there. So Cliff, that's bullshit. You could have had a conversation with Josh right there if you really wanted to have that conversation. You didn't want to have that. You took it out on Latrice because that's who you wanted to take it out on. Because it's more to that, and I still believe it's more to that. Josh done said something more to that, and to the effect that it pissed you off because that boy knows way too much about your marriage because your wife ran her mouth to her friend, which is supposed to be her best friend. But then also Joshy should have learned to know when to put a cap on it and don't put yourself in the middle of a marriage, or hell, don't put yourself in the middle of nobody's relationship because you're not going to win as a friend. Sometimes you have to step back and allow your friends to make their decisions. Let them vent to you. You can give your opinion, but you also cannot interject yourself into something because at the end of the day, they always going to choose the mate over you. That's common sense. So you got to stop doing that. Joshy is brought on set about staying with Cliff and Latrice, and Carlos asks, has Josh witnessed anything that would be concerned for Latrice's safety staying in the house? And Josh says no. So if that's the best friend and he ain't never seen it, then it's no. So we can stop with the alcoholic storyline next year. We can stop with the abusive storyline because clearly this is a dynamic of their relationship that is it's a toxic relationship, but it's a dynamic that tells me that Cliff is just as Cliff. This is who he is. He an old school man. I'm not making excuses from it, but when you that old and you believe that the man is the ruler of the house and everything that says goes, that's how they operate. If Latrice is okay with that and she knows that, hey, I know I got daddy issues and I married a man that is set to be like a father to me, and she's cool with it, everybody gonna have to get glad, build a bridge, and get the hell over it because that is her life. Y'all can't dictate that lady life. She cool with it. God bless. Josh issue is how Cliff speaks to her, and again, you may not like that, Josh, but that's for her to vocal in her marriage. You can't come into somebody else's marriage and check some shit. I don't come into my friends' relationships. I don't check anything. Just guess what? My friend may come to me and vent, but at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and I'm not going to object to anything. I have been at the table with my friends and they get into it with a mate, and I will sit there and continue to drink my drink and mind my business because it does not have anything to concern me with. When you interject yourself into people's marriages and relationships, you never win. He says in the moment he didn't think he was wrong. So that means he's done some self-reflection and he feels like, hey, maybe I could have handled this much better. Cliff interjects and says, well, you never said I'm sorry for anything or for what I did wrong. Joshy said he didn't know Cliff had an issue until the night at M Bar. Carlos asks Joshy, does he accept Cliff's apology? And he says, no, not right now. And Cliff, you trying to browbeat this man into accepting your apology is actually ridiculous, but that's how old ninjas like y'all do. Joshy says he's doing it for the cameras, and Cliff says he's sorry, and uh Joshy says he's just doing this apology for the cameras, and Cliff said he's sorry, and there's nothing else to it. Joshy says you can't control me the way you control Latrice, and again, that's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. Knowing when to say when and thinking before you speak, Joshy, even if that's how you feel. Cut it. Be quiet. Be quiet. Learn to harness. See, you personally invested, and I know that's your friend. And when we are friends with people, we get personally invested and we get hurt. But you have to know when to rein yourself back and pull yourself back. Yeah, Latrice is your friend, but Latrice is also your boss. So y'all have a double-edged sword to your relationship because though she's your boss, she's also your friend. And sometimes you have to know when to balance that. But when you make comments like that, you don't help the situation. You don't help her in her marriage with trying to stay neutral between you and her husband. And you don't help you because it only hurts your feelings and it only puts you in a bad space. And you further feel like Latrice doesn't care because she's going to side with her husband. You have to know when to say when and gauge it back. And Latrice was kind of like, whoa, that seemed too much. And I'm just like, you got to know, because it's ridiculous. Joshy says he has tried to apologize and he says he doesn't want to say it. Latrice says they did at one point have a good relationship, and Cliff is acting like that's not true. Joshy calls him fake, and Carlos even says he's seen the behind the scenes footage of them, and he says that he's seen that they did get along. They had a good relationship at one point. Cliff compares their relationship to a puppy and a dog, and I'm just like, I'm confused. Um, Carlos says you admitted you overstepped and you can accept his apology. And he says, yes, but I'm just not going to be forced to do anything. And Joshy says it won't ever go back to what it used to be, and that's fine. And they don't communicate, and him and Latrice don't communicate as they used to, but he's okay with that. And that's just because you overstep. And that's what happens when friends overstep and overjump into situations and they call themselves trying to jump in to defend their friends and their relationships and their situations and their marriages. When you overstep, it can cause friction. And when it causes that friction and that person chooses their mate, then it shifts your relationship with that said friend, because now y'all are kind of at a crossroads, like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, at one point I thought this we were on the same page and we was cool as friends, but then trying to graft it back. And I just think that at the end of the day, I understand Josh's feelings are hurt, but Josh has got to realize sometimes you have to kind of pick your battles. And when it comes in with your friends coming to confide in you about their marriage or the relationship, you have to sit there and listen, give your opinion, but step back and don't get yourself invested or call yourself taking up for your friend or jumping your friend's mate or calling yourself having a conversation with your friend's mate about what's going on in their marriage, because 9 times out of 10 the other person that you're the mate that you're trying to confront about that is not going to receive that well, because it's like, what the hell are you doing all in my relationship and in my marriage? I ain't asked you all that. Who are you? And with Cliff being so old school, he has that mindset of a lot of men that are old school. What goes on in my house stays in my house. What's between me and my wife? My wife ain't got no business telling you what's going on between me and her. I don't care what the conflict is. I don't care what's going on. She should not dare repeat that to anybody. I don't care who you are. You could be him. That could be her mama. She's not to repeat that. And he's damn sure they should not be approaching me about anything that's going on in my house. And I just think that's what it boils down to. Latrice's mom may say certain things, but Latrice's mama ain't jumping in Cliff face. We ain't seen her jump, or have we? I don't remember that if that's happened. But I don't see her mother jumping in like that. She allows her daughter to make her own decisions. And I think as friends, we have to know when to say when and pull back. I do feel sorry for Joshy. I hope that him and Latrice's relationship does find itself to mend. I do hope that Cliff and him can at least be cordial for the sake of Latrice. Y'all don't have to like each other, but y'all can at least respect. That's all I got. I ain't got no more. I don't understand why we hitting the third part of this reunion, but baby, I'll be back here next week with a video. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure y'all follow me on the social media that has been scrolling down the screen the entire time. If y'all would like to donate to the Cash App and the Venmo, y'all can. And that's all I got, y'all. Have an amazing weekend. If you live in Texas, please stay warm. We bracing ourselves for this winter storm. And baby, I ain't got time for what they talking about. I got all the firewood in the world. Okay. Greg Abbott will not play with me. Okay. But y'all have a good one. Be easy.